has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast.
All right, a Misery Monday, coast to coast, along with Carver High and Ferrall in New York. Good to have you with us. What bummed me out about the Watt injury was that it was really his own teammate did it to him. Backing up, guys running sideways. Watt had nothing to do with the play at all. He had no bearing on the play whatsoever, and a guy bashes into him from the side, and you saw his knee snap inward. And then he went down and he was in agony. And I think it really hurts this football game Sunday because I stand by, again, he's the best player defensively in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. They always talk about all these other guys, and this guy's going to win the sack exchange again for the third time. He went back-to-back in, I think, 20 and 21. Didn't get it last year, going to win it this year. And then the guy gets his knee blown out by his own teammate as they make the playoffs and go to Buffalo to a game, and this guy can't play. I mean, it's a bummer because I think him being on the field makes that game a lot better, certainly than without.
It's a huge difference, Scotty. If you remember, what was it, 3 years ago, they played that week 1 game in Buffalo, and the Bills were big favorites that day, and Watt made Josh Allen's life absolutely miserable, caused a couple of turnovers, and the Steelers came back in the second half and won that game in Orchard Park. So Watt was a difference maker that day against Allen. I'm with you talking about it on like a serious level. I think it's a massive loss for the Steelers, and it's not going to help the situation whatsoever when you got to try to chase Josh Allen around on Sunday. You don't have TJ Watt out there to help you do it. No doubt about that. Next, the other game on Saturday night, I don't think they knew at the time, obviously, that it was going to be for the AFC South. We welcome in all of our radio affiliates for Coast to Coast on a Monday, Sirius XM 159 and Sports Byline. They didn't know at the time they'd be playing for the AFC South, but they were, the Colts and the Texans. And, Scotty, how about this? How about Warren Sharp? We got to tip the hat here, right? I mean, he gave you that Nico Collins over 71.5 as his lion's share pick on Thursday. I mean, this dude hit it on the first Texans offensive snap of the game on ESPN.
And there's more to talk about that as Stroud, little play action to start. Good protection. Airs it out for Collins. He's got it. One play, touchdown, Texans. 75 yards to start the night for number 7.
I got to tell you, it was such a beautiful rope bomb. I thought literally right then and there that they were, going to win. Even though it later became 14-all and all the rest, I just felt like the same thing going in that we said it on Thursday, Friday. He's better than Minshew. He's just a better player, flat out. You're going to bet on some guy that's not better than his opponent. Like, when you got a quarterback that's better than the other guy, I mean, at some level, you just have to start betting on the guy that's better, don't you? Like, this is a quarterback league. I know that it's one in the trenches, defense, all the rest. But if you got a quarterback better than the other quarterback, I mean, that's it right there. I mean, that's who you're betting on right there. I'm not going to bet on some guy that's not as good as the guy he's going up against. You're going to get schooled. And he did it to him in their building because he's better. He's a better quarterback. That's it.
He is. And Minshew he had a bad night, Minshew. He was awful. I mean, he was missing guys. He missed that guy on that fourth down play.
That fourth down was pathetic.
Just an awful throw. The kid took all the blame, too, the running back that didn't catch it. But that was an awful throw from Minshew on that play. So the Colts go home. Texans win the division. They'll play the Browns on Saturday at home in H-Town for you. NFC side, Scotty, the Packers they had a winning in, and they got it done against the Bears, 17-9. Jordan Love and Dontavian Wicks a couple of times in this game, the second one on CBS.
3rd and 3, pass to Wicks, and he finds the goal line for the touchdown.
I mean, this kid has really shown up. I am impressed. This is an unbelievable route.
Listen, let's calm down with the route, okay? It was 17-9. Okay, but I'll say this. So much for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know, but they acted like this kid could no more hold his jock than fly a kite. And this guy, when he finally got his chance, he has been a stud, and he got him into the playoffs, and no one cares about Aaron Rodgers anymore in Green Bay. They got their guy. They got a guy that can win, and they're in the playoffs again. LaFleur is in with the young quarterback, Love, and they're all set up nice and juicy in Green Bay for years to come.
It bothers the hell out of me because, as I said to you, I wanted them to live in some quarterback hell for a little while. They had 30 straight years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Not going to put Love there yet, but, man, he's good. And he had a hell of a year for them, and he's going to get a chance on Sunday to go into Dallas and play the Cowboys, which should be a lot of fun. One other side note from this game is, of course, the Bears finished at 7-10. They have the number one pick in the draft, Scotty, because they have Carolina's pick. The talk has been, are they going to keep Justin Fields, trade the pick? Are they going to take Caleb Williams? Well, you listen to Justin Fields yesterday. Sounds like he already knows the answer to that question. Here we go.
I mean, I'm not sure. Like I said, that decision is not in my hands. All I can control is, what I did do, and I gave it my all. So whether it's here or not, I have no regrets. Shout out to, you guys for, making my job a little bit harder. But, just to the city of Chicago, love y'all. Appreciate the fans and the support from all the Bears. In case this is my last rodeo with y'all, and just appreciate y'all for everything. So, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of emphatic, isn't it? Like, where's he going to end up is what that says to me. Is it Atlanta? Is it Pittsburgh?
Vegas.
There's so many decisions to be made. Let's say the Steelers go to Buffalo and get their ass beat, and Rudolph, that'll be the end of him. They have decisions to make because they obviously have started showing signs of weakness toward believing in Kenny Pickett. And they definitely don't like Trubisky anymore. So he might fit there, but it sounds to me like from his mouth that he's out of Chicago, that they're not going to give him a deal.
It certainly does, and I think you're right. There will be a few teams, whether it is the Steelers, the Falcons, the Raiders, teams like that will be looking.
Mike,
Washington, there's going to be others.
One other thing. I saw it today. They got the number one, and I saw it today. Somebody even mock out that Derek May would get the number one over Caleb Williams. What is his name?
Drake May. Drake May from Carolina.
Derek May, Dylan May, Donnie Wahlberg. What do I care?
Don't take him first. That's what
Let me tell you what I'm getting at. Like, if I don't know his name, if you draft that kid from North Carolina number one, you are gonna. That'll be worse than Trubisky. If you do that, because listen, I don't know what people are tripping on this dude. What did he do this year besides nothing?
Look,
you have got to be kidding me that guy. Now they're saying he's the number one. I barely believe in Caleb Williams, let alone him.
I don't either.
Then honestly, I'd drown myself before I pick him.
I think people are going to fall over themselves for Caleb Williams and Drake May. Honestly, Scotty, I think Jaden Daniels and Penix are going to be better than those two guys. I think those are the two guys people should be looking at.
I agree with you.
Caleb Williams and May.
Oh, I agree with you, hands down.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The Weiss said we're getting the Stanley Cups, and now they got Stanley Cups in West Virginia.
Yep. They're doing $300 million gross a year in sales.
Listen, man, we don't need that much, man.
They're crushing
it.
A
little piece of the Stanley Cup. I would drink from the Stanley Cup every day. I'll have inscribed on there. We'll get our BVB inscribed.
Yeah.
Stanley Cups.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back,
The irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Greg, do you agree with the idea that the odds makers are sharing by having the Pinstripes booked as the favorites to win the pennant in the American League?
The average person who doesn't bet on sports at the Venetian, at Caesars, Mandalay Bay, they've never bet on anything before. They walk into a sports book. They know nothing about sports, but they look at the board, Ben, and they say, Yankees. I know who they are. That sounds like a fun bet.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Ferrall
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports
That
Rage
was good
late
betting.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We
information. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you, I was lucky on that Tampa Bay bet I made yesterday, laying that 3 in Carolina, because when it was 3-0, and then it was 6-0 at the half, and then I'm like, all it would take is one score, and you can forget about covering. But that defense was able to shut out the Panthers, and then they started firing more people. Their owner afterwards firing Federer, the GM. What a mess they got going. I'm lucky I covered with the Bucks.
Yes, indeed. And you had that one play, great play at the goal line by Winfield, knocking the ball out, Scotty. That guy that was going in for Carolina, the ball went through the end zone, and they recovered it when they were going for the touchdown. 9-0. It wasn't pretty, but Tampa got it done. Bowles very happy.
It was a defensive battle. We got enough, thank goodness, for Winfield to play on the goal line. Thank goodness for Chase kicking some field goals. We knew it was going to be a tough battle. We knew we had to play 4 quarters. We made less mistakes, and we got a division title.
How gratifying does that feel this year?
It's great to win 3 straight, especially how people counted them out. I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy for the players, the coaches, the management, the scouting department. They worked so hard to get everything done and to hear all they had to hear. And to come out winning the division title is outstanding for those guys. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to fire him now? I mean, they won the division title. So no one in their right mind thought that they would win it at the beginning of the season, honestly.
Especially, Scotty, with everybody's favorite whipping boy, Baker Mayfield, who you could tell he was in bad shape yesterday. They still won the game, but 4,000 yards. I think it was 27 or 28 touchdowns this year. Played every game, played hurt, and won a division with the Bucks. That was a hell of a job by Baker. I know me and you we love Baker, so we always pump him up. But that was a nice job by Baker getting a new there in Tampa this year. And now they'll play the Eagles on Monday night, which we will discuss in a moment. The Cowboys beat Washington 38-10. Washington was so gutless, they needed to fire Rivera today. What an awful job by them yesterday in that game. So they win the NFC East. The Eagles, and it didn't even matter what the Eagles did, Scotty, because the Eagles got their ass beat by the Giants at Snoopy, 27-10. They lose 5 of their last 6 games as well to finish out the year. Here's Nick Sirianni, who's just got no friends in the Philadelphia area right now.
Yeah, I mean, none of us are quitters.
We all get up off the mat when we're down, and we get up and we keep going. Like, I don't like when you get hit in life, when you get hit in football, you got two options. You can stay down, or you can get the F up. And I know this group is fighters. I know this group will get up. I know that we've all been through things in our life that we've all had to deal with, and we know how to get up. And that's why we're all sitting in this room.
Okay, Rocky. Here's the deal. The reality is they've gotten worse over the last 6 weeks, every week. From 1 week to the next, they got worse and worse and worse and worse. You can't deny that the Buccaneers are going to be live for that game at Raymond James with that defense and Baker at home, and everyone thinks Philly's automatic. Automatic what? Automatic loss again? They've looked so terrible lately. You can't even tell me they're better than the Buccaneers. I'm serious. And that coach looks like he's got no answers. None of them do.
No answers right now, that's for sure. They got all kinds of injury problems, too, whether it's A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Hurts with a broken finger on his hand, whatever he's got going on. They got all sorts of issues.
What a shame.
That's for sure. What a shame. Rams did beat the Niners 21-20. Our boy Puka Shells, all-time rookie record for receptions and receiving yards by a rookie. What a hell of a year for that guy, Scotty. That was like a fifth-round pick out of BYU and has the greatest rookie receiving season of all time. That's pretty damn good.
I mean, it really is. And as you know, if you wear Puka Shells, you always get action. It's just automatic.
You do always get action, that's for sure. The Lions beat the Vikings 30-20. Lions, of course, we'll discuss in a moment. They will play the Rams this week. The Jets beat the Patriots 17-3. Let the speculation begin, Scotty, for Bill Belichick and the Patriots this week. He does say he still wants to coach football.
Bill, the loss to the Jets did drop you to 4-13. Would you characterize this as one of the most difficult seasons you've ever coached? And has it taken any of the wind out of your sails as far as the effort it takes to coach?
No, I mean, I enjoy coaching. Like I said, it was a disappointing season. I covered that in the opening statement, and really don't have anything to add. That's how I feel. But no, I like coaching the team. I like preparing the team, game planning, coaching on Sundays. But the results weren't good, and none of us are happy with those. So, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, he just won't talk about it. But listen, it's such a difficult predicament to be in with a guy that's gone to that many Super Bowls, that has that many rings, that has that kind of relationship with the city and with the owner. This is the most sticky situation in the NFL. It is not fluid at all. It has to be nearly impossible, even to be Bob Kraft right now, to have to deal with it. Yeah, I can guarantee it. He's sitting there talking to his wife and whoever else will listen. What should I do? How do you deal with something like that? This guy's a legend, and he's as good as it gets. It's got to be the same thing, frankly, as Landry, as Chuck Noll. I mean, how do you fire someone like that? It's got to be near impossible to deal with it as a person. I would not want to be in Bob Kraft's shoes. And I think Bill Belichick's career and marks and coaching speak for itself. He had a bad year, and what are you going to blame him for crime in Boston too? Like, they didn't win. I'll tell you what, though, I'll say it over and over again. To me, they were prepared every week. They were violent. They had a good defense. They stopped everybody for the most part. And the reason why they sucked so bad was because they had nothing in terms of talent offensively. I am not a buyer in any of their quarterbacks, including Bailey Zappi, who they keep trying to shove down my throat. He sucks too.
Yeah, he sucks. They're going to have the third pick in the draft, and they're going to have to take a quarterback. It's pretty much what it all comes down to, Scotty, at the end of the day, to start that franchise.
Get that Jalen Daniels kid. See what happens to your offense.
It's going to be very good. Let me go through this. So the Saints beat the Falcons. Who cares? The real fun in the Saint-Falcon game was after the game.
Yeah.
They were going to take a knee, And apparently the Saint players, Jameis Winston and the offense, they went rogue and wanted to get Jamal Williams, the running back, a touchdown because he didn't have any touchdowns this year. So the players basically told Dennis Allen, screw you. We're not taking a knee. We're going to go score another touchdown. Arthur Smith didn't like that, was dropping F-bombs at midfield, Scotty, when they met for the handshake. I thought he was going to deck him. Here's Dennis Allen afterwards, apologizing for the entire thing.
And I'm going to start off by apologizing to Arthur Smith and the Falcons. That was not a play that we intended to run down there to finish out that game. That's not who we are. That's not how we operate. We should have taken a knee. So I want to apologize to them. Because, look, we're all, like, we got a good rivalry. And it's a heated rivalry. But there's a way we go about doing our business, and I wasn't happy about it.
Well, they're going to return serve on that one no matter what you say. At some point down the road, you're going to get it back in spades. But Art Smith lost the Falcons 2 months ago. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday.
Certainly didn't. He was going to be gone, and he is chopped now. Bengals beat the Browns. I did see Jake Browning say that he should be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He actually played pretty well, Scotty, and there's a lot of hacks around the league. Maybe the Bengals would want to get something for Browning considering how well he played, but it's always good to have a backup for a guy who never plays in Joe Burrow.
Yeah, listen, I don't care what Jake thinks. Jake, you're our two, and we need you. And what they need to do is give him a little more money and shut him up because everybody needs 2 good quarterbacks. That's just all there is to it. Most need 3.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It looked like it was going in. It hit the upright and bounced out and did not go in. There's more scoring in an MLS soccer game than there is this Cotton Bowl.
The Chargers didn't know what the hell to do with Staley for years. They're a clown show and cheap. Denver's got this issue, Gabe. Like, the Chiefs must just be sitting there going, wow, what a bunch of brain trust we work with in this division.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony. I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
All right, so the BetMGM 1,500 first bet offer for all new BetMGM account users. How do you get it? Download the app on iOS or Android in the Play Store. Go to BetMGM.com. Sign up. Put the bonus code in of SG1500, SportsGrid 1500, and deposit at least $10 into your new account. Place your first wager. Receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. So if you were to bet $1,500 on a game and lose the bet, when the wager's settled and you lose and the game's over, done, settled, boom, you get $1,500 in bonus bets in your account immediately. I mean, that is just fantastic. You got to wait till the wager is settled, then you'll get your money. That is the greatest thing that's ever happened to America. The BetMGM first 1,500 offer clearly, I think, is crucial. All right, Davis Lee Roth-Matic joins us every day on Coast to Coast from Fantasy Sports Today. You can catch it Saturdays at 7 to 9 with Scoop Mish. Badass show, and he's badass on this show. I want to start with Kansas City. You know, they're playing the Dolphins in this playoff game that's going to only be on Peacock. Now, local people in Kansas City can watch it. Local people in Miami can watch it. Nobody else can watch it unless you give NBC some money. It's basically pay-per-view. Now, I want to get your thoughts on that, first of all. And second of all, I'm hearing it's supposed to be like 10 degrees there in Kansas City for that football game. That cannot bode well for the Miami Dolphins because they can't even play good in Miami, let alone freezing their ass off.
And they're banged up. Yeah. I mean, I actually think it's probably going to be closer to 0 degrees even than 10 degrees. And Kansas City cold is real cold because that is always coming with some wind. It will get in your skin in my experience, that Kansas City cold. I've been to a couple playoff games at Arrowhead, and if it gets, I mean, that is going to be an uncomfortable environment for the Miami Dolphins to play in for sure. Now, the Peacock thing, I mean, it's insane, right? They even, I mean, this was actually, I guess you got to give credit where credit is due. They turned off the 7-day free trial for the week. So no one, it used to be you could try Peacock. Oh, do I like it? What do they have on here? Let's try it out. 7 days free. They turned it off for the week. So if you want to watch this game, you are subscribing for at least a month. You are paying at least $5.99 to watch Chiefs Dolphins. I will get it because it's my local game, so I won't have to pay for it. But it is a crock, right? Like a playoff football game behind a paywall. I don't love it.
So, because I don't know these things now, I have every streaming service known to man except Peacock. Like, when I added Paramount, I was like the last straw for me. Because I have Paramount, I got Prime, I got Netflix, I got... How many others are there? Like, I got
way more.
Hulu, Apple TV Plus. I have all those. I'm not adding another one. I refuse to add another one. So... you're telling me you can sign up for that game for $5 and then 30 days later you can bail, no questions, no crimes?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me, is that you can do the $5.99, you can subscribe for a month, and then you can cancel. That's the way it sounded to me. Now, I mean, that'll work out for them in the end because there'll be a number of people that forget,
right.
And that they're paying for the whole year. Yeah. So, I mean, look, it'll work out for them. There was Notre Dame football played a couple games that were on Peacock only. Like they're kind of experimenting with this. I don't know. I personally don't love it. I mean, streaming in general is fine. And it's nice to be able to have on-demand programming and you can pay to not have commercials and stuff. But for live sports, it is honestly, it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. So let's talk a little baseball per usual. I'm always interested in what you have to say. Mania. And that's it. This is what all of his money is going to get to Mets is Sean Mania. That's it. That's their offseason. That's their hot stove is Sean Mania.
Yeah, I mean, the headline is a revamped New York Mets rotation, right? I mean, probably not, right? Probably not really all that revamped. Probably not.
How about they'd be better with a vampire pitching?
Yeah, it's just really, it's really, and I mean, I guess a left-handed starting pitcher in the National League East, like it's not that big of a deal. It'll probably be like he'll probably be fine. But you're right. I mean, the whole premise of Cohen being the owner of the New York Metropolitans was there's finally going to be an owner of the Mets who makes it not the same old Mets. They'll have the best medical team. They'll have the best training staff. They'll have the best manager. They'll get the best marquee free agent every single year. I mean, I guess the two marquee free agents for the Mets got traded. They got traded in the middle of the season, Verlander and Scherzer. I mean, what other marquee addition have they made? Is that the fate that's going to be there for Manaea? He's going to pitch for them for 6 months and get traded as well?
I mean, I don't understand it. Like, who in their right mind would pick him over like Blake Snell?
I mean, I don't really know. I would assume that Blake Snell probably just doesn't want to be a Met, and that the amount of money they felt comfortable offering him is not what his agent, because he's a Boras guy, I believe. I think Snell is a Scott Boras guy. So if you're a Scott Boras client, I mean, maybe the Mets don't have that good of a relationship with him, but Boras is going to know, I can get you the money that you want. I can get you a good contract, 4-year, 5-year, whatever, guaranteed money. We can set it up so that you are going to, and maybe the Mets, I don't know, maybe they don't want to pay. Maybe they are feeling a little gun shy after the Scherzer and Verlander signings. It's definitely possible.
What do you think of the Dodgers getting Teoscar Hernandez? Like, he's won a few Silver Sluggers, right, when he was in Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is sort of like a fine addition for them. He's definitely better than some of the guys who was in their outfield rotation last year. Because remember, they were getting so banged up at DH and at outfield last year, and actually middle infield as well. And now they'll just be able to move stuff around. I mean, he's like a slightly above league average, like right left fielder. He's going to be 31 years old. So I would guess their plan is probably for him. I guess the thing is Mookie Betts is now going to be transitioning full time to be a second baseman. So they did really need another outfielder. I mean, it's a good signing. I don't know if it's like a great signing, but it makes a little bit of sense.
All right, let's get into your picks for tonight and start with the Natty, because you're going rogue on everyone right out of the gates. My man, Davis Lee Roth, going rogue.
Yeah, I am. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's, I guess, I think Washington is sort of popular, I guess it depends on your crowd, right? But I am taking the Washington Huskies against Michigan. I think this is my premise, Scotty. If you told me for the rest of my life, till the day I die, I can only bet on the football team that I think has the better quarterback forever, and that's the only information I'm allowed to have and use to wager on these games, I bet in the end, I come out a winner. I bet if that's just the only thing I do for the rest of my life, I bet I'm a winner. I think Penix is really good. I think they also have the two best wide receivers there in Adunze and McMillan. Actually, Polk is pretty decent as well. Don't really mean any disrespect to Michigan. I think Michigan's a really good team, but I think Michigan is a really good team that is designed to score between 20 and 24 points. And I guess I'm sure they have not allowed more than, when's the last time Michigan allowed more than 30 points? I can't even remember.
Not like 24 is the most they've allowed.
Yeah, just no chance. So I think probably, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a bit of a grind, but I think Penix played so unbelievable in the Oregon game and the Texas game. I think it's hard for me to imagine that guy giving basically a touchdown now at BetMGM.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you this. I don't think it's the craziest bet I ever heard in my life because he's such a badass. And your premise of bet on the better quarterback is the same thing I said earlier today. I bet on Stroud because he's better than Minshew. I just bet on the Texans because the quarterback's better. And it's the same thing here. I would agree with you that he's better than McCarthy. I think they're very different. One is a pure pocket passer. drop back, sling it, quick release, gets rid of the ball real fast, 2 seconds. And then the other guy's more of a get out of the pocket, run, and create. So I think that is their difference. All right, there is NBA tonight, and you have gotten in on 3 of them. Let's start with the Boston game in Indy. I don't know what's better, that game or the Natty across the street or whatever in Houston. That one, where was I talking about the other day? It was the Colts game, and the Pacers had a huge game at home.
It is literally right there. Yeah, I'm taking the Celtics here. I mean, I like the Pacers. I think they're fun. I think they're exciting. The Celtics are just an awful matchup for them. They're just way too balanced on defense. They're like the one team in the NBA that can limit the Pacers on offense.
So you're going Jazz against the Bucks in Milwaukee. You didn't learn your lesson the other night in Boston with your Jazz and your 14 spot, and they lost by 50? You didn't learn yet?
Didn't learn it there. Going back to the well, Giannis came out to the media, said everyone's got to be better. I got to play better. Coach got to be better. And my recent experience with these player-only meetings, the people getting disgruntled, is that it doesn't immediately make everyone play better. So a little bit of a narrative bet there for the people, Scotty.
All right, I'm with you on this one. I'm going with you on the Suns and Clippers. The Clippers let me down last night against the Lakers. I lost money. What are you doing here with Phoenix and the clip joint at the crypt?
Yeah, Durant, questionable, should be back for this one, but they finally have Beal and Booker playing. We're taking the Suns. I'm not a Clippers guy. Not really a strong believer in them.
You can even get it up to 7 now. I got it at 6.5 this morning. All right, enjoy the Natty tonight. Davis, we'll talk to you again tomorrow, brother. Thanks.
Good luck, bud.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
North Carolina, we've got new sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev. Go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix Jr. over 309.5. Let's stop around. Let's get active and let's get the best of the numbers here, Joe. I believe if Michigan in this ball game can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ball game.
National championship set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms tonight. This is it.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterback,
Ferrall,
backup quarterback.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took them
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's always our favorite part of the day in between segments when we talk bad about people, and it was fun. I enjoyed every minute of it, Mike. Thanks so much. Let's get into the NFL draft top 10. Is this the top 10 players or the top 10 picks?
No, this is, of course, at the completion of our regular season. These teams are now looking to April, Scotty. The long run to the NFL draft, which I want to remind you, because we're always concerned about where these things are. It's not in a cool place this year like Vegas. The NFL draft is in Detroit this year, is where the NFL draft is. So it's going to be in Detroit.
What a disaster.
The Bears have the first pick. That's because they had Carolina's first pick. So the Bears actually have 1 and 9 in the top 10. Commanders, Patriots, Cardinals, and Chargers in the top 5. Giants, Titans, Falcons, Bears, Jets finish you off there in the top 10, Scotty.
Yeah, very exciting. I told you I've been looking at I don't care really about the order. I've been looking at the players and the early mocks and which guy's going where and this and that. And I agree with what you said earlier. Let's just leave it at that. I think this kid Penix and the kid that won the Heisman, Daniels, are way more exciting offerings than I got to be honest. Caleb Williams from the Heisman to this year, I thought was a disaster. And who are you going to blame? You know what they do? They blame Lincoln Riley. Meanwhile, the kid's doing TV commercials all year making money. You wonder why they lost and never won, because he was too busy going Hollywood, making commercials and making money. And then the bottom line is he stunk, and so did that May kid. I don't care what anybody says. And the ones that were balling out, one of them won the Heisman, and the other one's playing tonight for a natty. So you can have your Caleb Williams and I called him Derek May. That's how bad I butchered his name, because he doesn't matter either. If he mattered, I would have remembered his name. Trust me, and you know it.
I'm 100% in agreement. I would take those two guys, Penix and Jaden Daniels, every day of the week and twice on Sunday before Caleb Williams. I just would. I would want those guys quarterback in my team. You could get 4 quarterbacks in the top 10 this year, Scotty, if those guys go that high. Should be very interesting as we start combine season in a couple of weeks after the playoffs. I can't wait. Here we go. Your first look at the numbers for this weekend and these games. Of course, all week we'll be breaking these down on Coast to Coast. Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll start in Houston. The Browns and the Texans. Browns minus 2.5, flat 44 the total. Now, the Browns beat the Texans' ass a few weeks ago, Scotty, but remember that. No C.J. Stroud in that game. That was a Case Keenum special.
Where was that game? Wasn't that game down there, too?
That game, I believe, was in Cleveland. I will double-check that right now. You might be right about where that game was.
I don't know.
But go ahead. I'll find it.
All I know, listen, was that the game that Cooper had?
In Houston.
In Houston. They went there and beat him. And Cooper had like 250 yards.
265.
I mean, that was crazy. Look, this team is very dangerous because of their defense. And I got a hard time betting against anybody that has a defense that good. You just have to bet on them. Their defense, they allow 15 first downs a game. That's it. Okay? Like, no one's moving, scoring, doing anything against this team. Anything. You can't gain yards against them. You can't score against them. I mean, was I right, or was it, what are they averaging, allowing 15 points, or is it 15 first downs? It's something crazy with Schwartz's defense. They're that good.
The defense is in the 15-point range, one of the best in the NFL this year. Defense has been excellent. Myles Garrett having had an unbelievable year as
they
well.
Stopped the run too. The Ravens stopped the pass. The Ravens do not stop the run. They didn't stop the Steelers either. Excuse me. I think Cleveland's defense is better than Baltimore's. Cleveland is a problem for the Texans. Now, I don't doubt Stroud. I think he's capable of winning the game. But Cleveland's more dangerous than Houston because of that defense. And their offense, and Cooper and Flacco and Ford, they're a problem. The Joku, the Browns are a problem for the Texans. They better be ready.
I like the Browns, Scotty, here early in the week. I probably will all week long, too. I think the Browns are going to go down to Houston. I think a great year for Houston. Great year for Ryan, Stroud, rookie, all these guys. They got so much experience this year winning that division. But that usually doesn't play once you get into serious January football, right? And you play the more experienced team with a great defense. They usually run into some problems. I like Cleveland. Saturday night, we've discussed this a lot. 8:15 kick in Arrowhead. The Dolphins and the Chiefs, -3.5 for Kansas City, a flat 44 the total.
Yeah, I don't want to lay 3.5 points, but I'd be, I guess, willing to bet them on the money line to win. Kansas City is going to be 0 degrees. You heard them, 0 degrees.
Yep.
And the Dolphins can't get out of their own way right now, and they're just nothing but injuries and problems, especially up front. They can't run the ball. They got no one on the offensive line with any experience. Literally, their quarterback's going to be running for his life. And, I mean, they will hammer him down on the ground with his loose, he's had concussions. He's had his noggin knocked a bunch of times. All it's going to take, in my opinion, in 0-degree weather and wind is a couple of body slams of him. Tua will be done for the day. Dolphins lose. Chiefs will win again because that's what they do. They're at home, 0 degrees, Mahomes, and a defense. They've sucked all year, Kansas City, but the Dolphins aren't going to be able to handle the elements or that defense in Kansas City or 80,000 drunk fans.
And they lost 2 more guys for this game. If you remember, Van Ginkel and Baker both left that game for the Dolphins last night. Daniel just said an hour ago they're out on Saturday. They're not going to be playing, so more issues for them. All right, Sunday, triple header, and it starts, of course, in Western New York at 1 o'clock East. It is the Coast to Coast Bowl. The Steelers and the Bills in Orchard Park. A Big 10-piece here. 35.5 this total's actually 37 this morning, down to 35.5 because of this impending weather that could be coming. I said this to you earlier. I know you're hearing other people. You can hear this one from me. The Bills shouldn't be laying 10 points against anybody. I don't care who they're playing.
Well, also, I do not fear that 37. I think the Josh Allen will score in snow, sleet, rain, wind, lava. If there were lava, I would bet on the over. I am not believing that the Steelers are going to stop this juggernaut who's on fire right now. They destroy everyone they play. They're the number 2 seed now. They didn't get there because they suck. The Steelers are going to have a nightmare on their hands in this game. But at this point, I have no comment.
Josh Allen, like the post office, he's there no matter what. Rain, sleet, snow, weather, it doesn't matter. Josh Allen is there. Lava as well now. 4:30 on Sunday, the Packers and the Cowboys in Dallas. So Jordan Love making his first playoff start on the road. 7.5 and 50.5. Cowboys are tough at home, Scotty. I think this is the same spot like I was saying before with Houston. Packers get in, Love's first time. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up with that Cowboy offense in Jerry's world.
Yeah, but that number is sketchy. That's 7.5. I think the Packers are better than anyone gives them credit for. That this is just some automatic walk in the park for the Cowboys. I don't deny Dallas is the play to win. I don't know about that number. You might cover at 7 and a hook. That back door will be open for Love all day long, Led Zeppelin style. I guess most of the money will pour in on Dallas to slaughter them. And here's the deal. The Dallas Cowboys, every single year for the last 30 years, they've laid an egg in the playoffs. All they do is fail. I mean, they go, and I'll tell you one thing. Remember this. They lost to the Lions at Jerry's World. The game was fixed. Thank you, Brad Allen. Thank you, NFL. They did not win that game. They are not undefeated at home. That game was fixed. The Lions won the game. I think the Packers are going to be in the game.
Look, they could hang around. That's a heavy total, too, at 50.5. Sunday night is the Rams and Lions. Of course, you will get this all week long. Stafford and Goff, the big trade. Rams got a Super Bowl out of it. Now, Stafford returns to Detroit, where he tried forever, Scotty, to play a home playoff game there at Ford Field. Never did. Now he will play one there as a visitor. -3 for Detroit. 51.5, the heavy total.
I just, 30 years since a playoff home game for the Lions. It was 93. So they're going to go into this game and they're going to lose. The Rams are going to beat them. Stafford's going to go in there and beat them because the Rams offense is unstoppable. Their passing game is unstoppable. And Stafford's better than Goff. And Stafford has a Super Bowl ring. And he's going to go home, back to Detroit, ruin everyone's buzz. 30 years they've waited for this, and you know what's going to happen, don't you? They're going to lay an egg. You know it's coming. You can smell it, right? It's already.
I think that there's like some that doesn't get talked about a lot, like because the Lions had such a feel-good year and they won 12 games. Their defense kind of sucks, especially against the pass. Like they're not good at stopping the other team. Their offense has been so good at outscoring teams. I'm with you right now here early in the week. I think Stafford's going to go in there. And he's going to send the Detroit faithful home very unhappy on Sunday night. Monday night, last one, Scotty. Eagles will be in Tampa for the Monday night game. -2.5 for the Eagles and a flat 44 for the total.
It's just got to end with a car crash for the Eagles in Tampa Monday night, doesn't it? It's just a gigantic, 5-car pileup. So they lose 6 of their last 7. Sirianni gets fired, and the Buccaneers win, plus $1.20 outright at Raymond James. And the cannons are going to be going off, and we're going to see all the Eagles sitting on the bench crying. And then we're going to hear about how, they're so vicious, the Philadelphia media. They're going to attack everybody. What will we ever do when all the TV and radio people attack us? I'll never be able to sleep at night. I may start drinking. Whatever. I hope they lose. I live for it. I want to. They've already gone down the drain. They're pointing fingers already.
They are a long way from that 10-1 start right now as they head into Tampa. And I talk about the weather in all these games, the 3 outdoor games. They're expecting monsoon conditions in Tampa on Monday night as well. Lots of rain down there in the Bay potentially for this game. So keep that in mind as well. The Ravens and the Niners have the week off. That's why, Scotty, they are at the top of the big board to win the Super Bowl as we start the playoffs. It is the Niners and then the Ravens and then the Bills in the 3rd spot.
My team has so little chance that they won't even list
not
them.
On the board, and not on the board.
My team makes the playoffs and are still unlisted phone number. You got to use a burner phone to root for the Steelers.
The rest. So they're on page 2. Page 2. They're there. You got them on page 2. They're at the bottom right there. They're in the Packers.
Yeah.
It's okay. They'll be there.
I have no comment of your stupid lists.
We'll have a fun week here. That's for sure with the NFL
I'm not
playoffs.
having
All right,
fun.
we'll come back. We'll do this day in sports history. Then at the top of the hour, we have a national championship tonight. College football in Houston, Michigan, and Washington.
Natty.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev. Go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite. I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The Weiss said we're getting the Stanley Cups, and now they got Stanley Cups in West Virginia.
Yep. They're doing $300 million gross a year in sales.
Listen, man, we don't need that much, man.
They're crushing
I'll take
it.
a little piece of the Stanley Cup. I would drink from the Stanley Cup every day. I'll have inscribed on there. We'll get our BVB inscribed.
Yeah.
Stanley Cups.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back,
the irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Greg, do you agree with the idea that the odds makers are sharing by having the Pinstripes booked as the favorites to win the pennant in the American League?
The average person who doesn't bet on sports, at the Venetian, at Caesars, Mandalay Bay, they've never bet on anything before. They walk into a sports book. They know nothing about sports, but they look at the board, Ben, and they say, Yankees. I know who they are. That sounds like a fun bet.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks, backup
Ferrall
quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports
That
Rage
was good
Late
betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We
information. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's time for another exciting edition of Today in Carver High History.
It certainly is. Why don't we start today in 1962, Scotty? That is when Jack Nicklaus teed it up for the first time as a pro. Made his pro debut at the LA Open. I saw somebody post his check for that week. He won like $30. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, he came in like third to last and he won $30 that week. The winner won like $1,300. 1993, Michael Jordan scores his 20,000th career point in the NBA. 2000, on this day in 2000, the Bills get absolutely robbed in the Music City Miracle, as they like to call it. The Titans scored on a forward pass, forward throwback pass on the final play of the game to steal it, Scotty, from the Bills.
Was that to Wycheck?
That was Wycheck to Dyson.
And then he died this past year when he slipped and fell at home.
Frank Wycheck. But they robbed the Bills that day in Nashville, the Music City Miracle, they love to call it. 2007, Florida destroyed Ohio State 41-14 to win the national title. Those were Urban Meyer's jacked up criminal team, Scotty. 2012, Tim Tebow throws an 80-yard touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas as the Broncos beat the Steelers 29-23 in that AFC wildcard playoff game. Tim Tebow's only career playoff win was against the Steelers that day in Denver. I could not imagine the scene at your house for that one, as touchdown Jesus won that game. 2013, Steve Nash becomes the fifth NBA player with 10,000 career assists. 2018, Tua comes off the bench for Jalen Hurts and leads Alabama to a 26-23 overtime win against Georgia in the national championship game. The legend of Tua started that day, Scotty.
Yeah, well, that score would not cash the over tonight. I need more points than 26-23 tonight between Michigan and Washington, right? So let's get more points in the natty.